How's it going, everyone? Daniel Rodriguez here, aka Big D. It's time to review probably one of the best movies of cinema ever made, man, honestly. This movie stars Al Pacino, before Scarface, of course. Robert De Niro in here. I'm trying to remember a few of the other castmates. Robert Duvall, man. Oh, hell, man. Robert Duvall, man. Back, he still looks the same, except a little older today. But still, I like it. I like it. This movie was made, of course, in the mid-'70s, I believe. Sorry, I don't know. I didn't look it up because, I gotta get in character here. Let's gotta get right to it. And if you haven't seen the movie, I'll get to my non-spoiler review right here, but I'm going to get to spoilers in this review. So let me just tell you my non-spoiler. For the younger generation, if you haven't seen The Godfather Part 2, watch it. Watch The Godfather Part 1 first. Then watch the second one, of course, because you don't want to... Part 2. Actually, I do recommend watching Part 2 first, because it is a prequel and a sequel. Al Pacino's the sequel, and Robert De Niro's the prequel. He plays Vito Corleone, of course. And of course, Marlon Brando played Vito in Godfather Part 1. The Godfather himself, So, watch the Part 2 first. I recommend watching Part 2 first and then watching Part 1. It would make more sense, I guess. That's just my opinion. But overall, watch Godfather Part 2. That's just my non-spoiler review right there. It's awesome. Action, the directing, the acting. Now to the spoiler reviews. Let's get right to the juiciness. So here it is. If I haven't said it enough, and I've said it many times, but here it is. My spoiler review for The Godfather Part 2. Alright, guys, what's going on? And I gave The Godfather Part 1 a B+, by the way. That's really good. I just want to get that out of the way. A B+ is good. Marlon Brando is what made that movie shine, man. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. I love that. Now, let's get right to it. It's the pros first off in here, because there's a lot of them. Al Pacino, man. Just his character, Michael Corleone, is very well written and very well acted. One of the best Al Pacino roles, besides Tony Montana and a few others. Just one of his iconic roles will always be Michael Corleone. I gotta say, my favorite scene in this movie, my number one scene besides Robert De Niro's scenes, is just at the in Cuba when he goes up to Fredo and he's like, "Yeah, I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart. You broke my heart." And that moment there, I was like, there it is. There it is. Al Pacino, there's emotion in here, and there's hatred, and you don't really feel happiness for him as what you see. He is not a good guy. He's not a guy you really would be like, "Yeah, Michael Corleone, I root for you, man." No, he's a mobster. He's not a good guy. He's a mean guy, but he has his reasons. But without any reason, Al Pacino is fantastic in this movie. I mean, his acting in here, his wide variety of famous dialogue and writing from here is awesome. Very awesome. Next up, I gotta give props to Robert De Niro, Vito Corleone. I hope that was him doing the Marlon Brando impression, the way that he did his voice, and doing that voice. Awesome. Robert De Niro, which his birthday was, I believe, 2 days ago. He turned 72. Shout out to Robert De Niro. Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday. But still, the way that his movement and his voice, and you're thinking, this is the young Marlon Brando. You're looking at the young Marlon Brando of the time, man. And that was really cool. I love that. And he later on, he did Raging Bull, and then now we know Robert De Niro for many more things. A legend. And Marlon Brando, a legend playing The Godfather, and Robert De Niro, a legend playing The Godfather before he became The Godfather. Really awesome. Robert De Niro's acting, his portrayal, his reaction, his voices, and the best part is when he killed that guy, and he put the towel over and he shot, and the guy gets shot in his cheek. This movie is intense, and that's the action overall, I do have to say, is the action in here. It's intense. You got people getting stabbed and freaking cut open with their stomach. It's not for, of course, it's not for children, but it feels just so, this movie's about revenge and about loyalty, really. It's loyalty and revenge, and you make a promise, you're going to keep that promise, So that's what I love about the whole message of the movie, and of course seeing the Corleone family falling apart, trying to come back together, but you don't know who's a snitch, So you gotta always know that. Young Vito, like I said, Robert De Niro, the way his character was written, and let me tell you, the cinematography in this movie is one of the best cinematography I have ever seen, man. I do have to say. And this was about the Godfather Part 1 too, and this here, I haven't seen Godfather Part 3 yet, I'm sorry. But it catches every detail. And the crowds in this movie, the extras, I can only imagine being behind the camera and seeing all those extras, and Robert De Niro walking down the street, young Vito, and it just follows him. It follows him for a minute, literally, and it just shows him, and cars passing by. It feels real. This is a real, 1920s, 1930s, 1910s, area. It feels real. It feels like this is a real thing, and that's what I love about this movie, man. This is what I love from both movies. The cinematography itself, the directing, and the direction it went was just, it shocks you, you cry, you laugh, and, it's crazy. And again, every detail, the rooftop scenes to the Cuba scenes. The Cuba scenes are one of the best scenes in this movie. It goes on for a while, and when you're up on that roof and they're celebrating this man's birthday, you see the landscape of Cuba, and it's wow. It's beautiful. You just feel like you're there. You feel like you're there on top of the rooftop, and you're seeing everybody, and it feels. That's how I felt. I was literally. I get. How do I say it? I don't excited, and I get inspiration, and I feel like, wow. They don't make movies like this rarely anymore. How they just captures everything. Some directors still do that, and it's beautiful, man. I love it. Some directors don't. They just go for action. But this way it's all about story in The Godfather. Always about story first, characters, and then the action, of course. But the action in here is intense, like I've said, brutal, bloody, and for both Godfathers, to be exact. But we're reviewing part 2, of course, here. Fredo. Fredo is one of my favorite characters in the Godfather series. I just love him, and he looked so old in the first one. In the second one, he looks a little bit younger, even though it's not a prequel for his part. But I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy. I think that he worked together. I don't know that actor's name, but I think he did an awesome job as his character. Love the ending. All I'm going to say is I love the ending in here. Well, of course, I'm spoiling already. When Al Pacino looks so old at the end. Like, not old like he's like 50 years older, but he's just, like, he grew like a few years older and a few years wiser, really. Again, the filming and the score. When you hear that Godfather music, you're like, when the opening, you're like, it's on. We're back to that feeling. And then it opens. Again, I love the opening. I wish they would have done this in the first movie. The whole Vito origins. I think that was well scripted and well written. And when they're doing the funeral and everything, and the mom gets shot and he's running away, if anyone's hiding Vito Corleone, it's not going to end well for you. And just the subtitles. I just enjoy those type of movies. And I love the opening. I love the way it's constructed. I love the set pieces, too. You could tell, if you were there, man, the set pieces look totally beautiful. The beauty of cinema, man. The villain in this movie, excuse me, I do not remember his name nor the actor's name, but the villain in here really, there were about 2 or 3 villains when you're talking about the prequel and then the sequel here, and then, the Cuba. So there are a few villains in here that have that feeling like this was the right choice for the movie and for the series itself. So I think that was well done. The twist, there are a few twists in here, and a few cameos at the end, especially Sonny. That was a cameo from that actor, and a few other dead people who have passed in I was going to say Ghostbusters, Godfather Part 1. So those were really the pros, man. It's amazing. The only cons really, and yes, I'm going to say it because I'm not going to lie to you, it's a long movie. And this is where I'm going to get debate here. If I was in 1975, 3 hours in a movie theater, I got stuff to do. I have a life. I gotta do stuff, man. 3 hours is a long time. And we can argue, and I do believe every scene in this movie is worth keeping in the movie. There's not one scene where I'm like, that was a stupid scene, throw that out of the movie. No, every scene takes its time, it's paced well. Through the scenes are paced, but when you look 3 hours and 20 minutes, yeah, you know. So that's one of the reasons why people don't watch this movie, is because, I'm not going to sit 3 hours through it. You know, you can watch half, but I like to watch a movie through and through. I don't like to pause it and then a day later I get to it. I like watching it through and through, all the way through. And well, let's just say, you know, I saw it like at 2 in the morning, and at like, you know, around like 6 o'clock-ish, close to like 5:30-ish. So it took a long time, and I was like, I just want to go to bed already, man. Come on. But for real, I feel like every scene belongs in there. It is long still, and that's, I wouldn't watch it in theaters. If it comes back to theaters, I mean, if I own it, I don't need to go see it in theaters. Maybe just see it on the beautiful screen. But 3 hours, Jesus Christ, no. Never make a movie 3 hours. Jeez, it ain't Titanic here. But still, a very, very, very great movie. I'm going to give this movie an A-, a 9.25 out of a 10. It is better than Godfather Part 1. I'm going to say it. Marlon Brando, I love him, man. He's such a fantastic actor. And Godfather Part 1 will always have a part in my heart with the scenes and the memorable. It just made cinema a wider and bigger place in the world. But Godfather Part 2 is just, I enjoyed it more. I think the writing and everything was basically the same. It was great. But just still, the way it was all done, edited, the way that it was shot, the locations we go, I just enjoyed myself more. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Comment down below. Let me know what was your favorite part of The Godfather Part 2. What you hate, what you love. And it was long. I'm not going to lie. It was long. Is that a sex joke? That's not a sex joke. Anyway, thanks again, guys, for watching. I do many new movie reviews weekly, so go ahead and check that out on my channel. I review TV movies also. Not TV movies, TV shows, and much more. So check it out. Thanks again, guys, for watching. Again, hope you all enjoyed Godfather Part 2. I gotta see Godfather Part 3 now to close this trilogy. So, anyway, may the spark be with you always. How's it going, everyone? I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to also check out my other videos. I do TV show reviews, movie reviews. I do also game reviews and game unboxings, movie unboxings. I do a movie podcast, a superhero podcast, much, much more. So go ahead and check out the channel. Thanks for watching again. See you all next time.